ineffable. But as a scientist, I do my best to F it up by trying to describe it as much as I can. So I'll go ahead and do that.
Psilocybin and its active form, psilocin, are very similar structurally and chemically to serotonin itself.
I think they are probably why we became people. I think they are probably why society advanced. And I think every great ancient culture probably celebrated them and used them.
This wave came through our visual field.
Okay, well, since we're on this topic, I have taken extremely high doses of psilocybin.
Expressing that there's a whole world out there that you're not seeing. It's like we're living life inside this very strange tent.
I think we have no idea how psychedelic experience shaped religious presumption.
That reveals something that normally, should we assume, is masked, or that we are oblivious to.
Post Malone and I did a podcast. We did mushrooms.
Oh my God.
Yeah, we had a good old time.
When I was a broke-ass, struggling, depressed medical student, living in a 2x2 meter res dorm, life was already a joke. I kid you not, my room was so small that if I stretched my hands out, I could reach either side of my room. Cozy, right? So, in my infinite wisdom, I decided that this shoebox of despair was the perfect location for my first magic mushroom trip. Nothing like the soothing sounds of my neighbors shagging to encourage spiritual enlightenment and set the mood. I took a measly 1.5 grams and experienced literally nothing. Dude, imagine spending money to get high and then not getting high. I felt scammed, straight up finessed by a damn fungus.
My disappointment is immeasurable, and my day is ruined.
Hey man, does that mean I should take the full mushroom? I saw this big ass mushroom, man, and it was blue in color, so I should take it all at once so it works, right, man? Pro tip, even though my first trip didn't take me to Magic Mushroom Land, my approach was correct. You should always start low and go slow. Remember, you can always take more mushrooms at a later point, but once you've taken them, you have to ride those mushrooms out for the entire trip, whether that trip is good or bad. Getting back to my story, maybe I was destined for a life of depression. Maybe happiness just wasn't in the cards for me. Or maybe I just didn't take enough. Psychedelics had just started creeping into mainstream media, and everyone was talking about life-changing trips, ego deaths, and unlocking the universe's secrets. Even Johns Hopkins University was looking into them.
Aside from psychedelics' ability to treat one disorder or another, I think they're just poised to really help us to understand the nature of psychiatric disorders.
Now that bearded doctor may just have the best job in the world. Shout out to Johns Hopkins University. If you need a research participant, I am available. Now, after convincing myself that it was a dose problem, I got a much higher dose, about 5 grams. I intended to experience the psychedelic trip, and I knew just the place to do it. I was going to get high, the highest I had ever been. So armed with my mushrooms and a thick jacket, I made my way to a botanical garden situated in a nature reserve. Even sober, the views were breathtaking, so I knew that when the drugs would kick in, it was going to be awesome.
I think kind of the only bet you can make is that if you have the dose high enough, something really interesting is going to happen.
I chugged down my magic mushroom smoothie because apparently enlightenment tastes like regret, and then I made my way to the mountain. I lay down on the grass and waited. It didn't take long. Since this was my first real trip, I didn't know what was going to happen next. I had no clue. At first, everything looked normal. Trees were green, the sky was blue. Life was as expected. I was still depressed. And then the trees started moving, but there was no wind. Patterns crawled across the leaves like nature had some hidden graphics setting that it just unlocked. Colors got cranked up to HD Ultra Mode 4K. It had more colors than a Pride parade, or that Jaguar ad that didn't do very well. And just as I started to process it all, the hero's dose kicked in. I felt light, like my body wasn't even solid anymore, just air drifting through existence. I was fluid and boundless, like a thought's Instagram post. The trees danced, their leaves morphing through colors like a living kaleidoscope. The clouds popped, the sun screamed, the grass kind of lifted up and like flew away, if that makes sense. I wandered through the garden, completely awestruck. Everything felt new, like I was a child again. Beautiful, alive. Nature didn't just exist around me, it hit me hard. Like it had been waiting for me to finally wake up and see it. I felt it, this cosmic heartbeat. The visuals ramped up. Colors melted to each other. Distance warped like I was inside some sort of strange painting. I closed my eyes and bam, an infinite cascade of impossible geometric patterns appeared. I wasn't here. I don't know where I was, but I was somewhere else. I saw these strange faces that looked like Mayan mural depictions. The flowers whispered to me, their scent a language I suddenly understood. Time, it was gone, man. Every moment blurred, like I was the main character in a movie with the most insane cinematography. Think Michael Bay without explosions. Well, I guess that's not Michael Bay, but you get my point. Then I decided to do something stupid. I thought it would be a great idea to see the view of the mountains while on the top. I made my way up onto the canopy bridge that was suspended on a rope. High above the ground, with a strong wind blowing, the bridge was swaying side to side, making it unstable, extremely dangerous, and probably a bad decision. So, using my giga brain, I slowly stumbled onto said bridge and tried to maintain balance. I made my way to the top and felt the wind hit my skin under the influence of psilocybin, where you tend to feel everything times 1,000. Mind you guys, this was all under a hero's dose. It was actually incredible. It was a legit 10 out of 10 experience. Seeing the sun cut through the mountains with the clouds, well, it was mind-blowing. Sure, I might have fell off the bridge and died, and my story may have ended there, but I didn't, and I would have died happy. I'm gonna try and find a picture for you guys of what the view looked like during my first hero's dose. Now, I didn't do any therapy, reflection, or anything besides gawk at nature during this trip. Needless to say, it didn't cure my depression, but it opened the door, like that door they opened to Narnia, just better. A door to questions. You see, this was long before my 50 heroes doses. This was my virgin trip. I didn't know at the time what I had opened, just like any true virgin. But who does? Something had happened. When I looked at the mountain and took in the beauty of everything, while I contemplated the nature of reality, it was perfect, too perfect. At this moment, I started to entertain the idea of the divine. That's something far bigger and more powerful than anything mankind could conjure existed. Maybe this scene was one of a million, and maybe this life was meant for more, something far greater.
Like most amazing experience of your life. Some people could feel like they've reached the end of reality, this kind of plane of existence.
I felt that empathy that I lacked through most of my life.
Entire planet, sort of having this sort of experience of universal empathy.
I was aware that everything in this human experience was connected. For a brief moment, I felt alive, truly alive. I believe human language is not enough to express the profound joy that comes from the hero's dose. I lack the words that would do the experience justice. Maybe in the future, we will have a better way of expressing the psychedelic journey, but we don't currently. This was my first true adventure into Magic Mushroom Land. I wish I could tell you guys that after the single hero's dose, my entire life was fixed. My mind and mental health and everything was all good, sunshine and rainbows. But it was not. This is not the case. This moment was merely the beginning of a long journey into self-discovery. A lot more work would have to be put in to fix my mental health. This was where my path started. It would be years till I would actually be able to use shrooms for the healing that I needed. But it all started on a moment on a bridge on a mountain. My hero's journey. Thanks for watching. If you want to share your hero's dose experience, drop it down in the comments below. I actually read them. Fun fact, when I was typing this out, the autocorrect changed share your hero's dose experience to share your herpes dose experience. If you guys want to share that too, you can. Just don't put any pictures, please. If you have made it to the end, you're probably wondering who I am. I'm a medical doctor with over 50 hero's doses under my belt. The purpose of this channel is to optimize your neurochemical experience of reality, as I've optimized mine, which is a fancy way of saying how to get high safely, effectively, and with intention. If that is an interest of you, make sure to hit that like button and hit that subscribe button harder than a Donald Trump trade tariff. You know what to do if you like this content and want to see more of it. Until next time, psilocybin out.